Why then is democracy relevant to me as a minority? These decision-making processes are central as a vehicle to share information about how different laws and policies affect us. We have not been vocal enough as a community. We have very, very few voices out there that are talking about our experiences. But even there, these are surrogate voices. Other people are talking about us, our needs, our demands. Democracy gives you the power to talk about your needs in the first person, to talk about your dissatisfaction with the system and what you want to see going forward in your Hong Kong. So for example, the present education system fails to equip our children with Chinese language skills, right? So there's been a lot of discussion about what is the obligation of the government. If we all have an equal right to education, what should that educational curriculum be? And as we all know, many of us have long fought now, and as Fermi said, 16 years for Chinese as a second language curriculum, so that we can learn Chinese in a manner that is accessible to us. There's a misunderstanding about the notion of equality. Somehow, some people think equality is about giving the same thing to everybody. But that is an outdated understanding of equality. Equality is about giving everyone the tools and the skills that they need in a manner that is accessible to them, so that they can use those tools to reach the same point as everyone else in the community. So, if we are to learn Chinese, we have to learn it in a way that we can pick up the curriculum at a pace so that eventually we catch up with our Chinese counterpart peers and can compete with them in the job market or to access higher education opportunities. We haven't been demanding that. Another area of concern may be health services. If we fail to ask for interpretation or quality interpretation services, we risk seriously compromising our health when we go to the public healthcare system, because the doctors can't communicate with us effectively and don't know what our problem is and don't know how to treat us. Many of us have walked away being misdiagnosed or mistreated, but we have to complain. One of the biggest tragedies for me, being involved as an activist come educationist in Hong Kong, has been when officials, government officials who we have a meeting with, say to me, who is dissatisfied with this education system? Where are your people? Nobody complains to me. Parents are happy. They don't complain their children are not getting spaces in schools. They don't complain about the curriculum. It's just you. You're the lone voice. You're the only face I keep seeing everywhere, right? How tragic that we are seen not to be interested in our own issues. Okay, and that is why democracy is relevant to you and to me, but it's important for us to be more organized, to be part of a movement for social change, to be driven. So, given that we have a whole charter of rights that are protected under the Hong Kong Basic Law, how can we protect ourselves against infringement? By talking about the ways in which these rights are not met for people like us, by discussing policies and how they need to be improved so that we can benefit equally, because we are taxpayers, our parents are taxpayers, we are contributing to the community, so we are entitled equally to have policies in place for us so that we can benefit from the system. Sometimes we can make our voices heard in fora like these. At other times we can go to the press. In other instances we can elect for our district level or LegCo directly elected representatives. And hopefully soon we may even have the chance to vote for people nominating the chief executive through the nominations committee. We need to speak for ourselves rather than let decisions be made for us without our consultation. Only through educating ourselves and participating in opportunities for dialogues can we strengthen our rights and opportunities in Hong Kong. So what is my role? What is your role in Hong Kong? Actively engage in development and implementation of policies. Review the policies and how they affect you. If they affect you negatively, speak up. Talk to somebody. Be part of the process of raising your voice and implementing change. We must become more visible. We must have a say and get out there and make our viewpoints heard. We all have a narrative, but we all also have a role to play. So the last question is, can I make a difference? Right? And this is something I want all of you to ask yourself. Can you make a difference? There was a time when I felt that one lone voice wouldn't make a difference. So to be very honest with you, when the education minister Eddie first came to office and he said to me, "It's just you, and I've only been seeing you, so frankly I'm not sure how seriously to take your complaints about the Chinese language curriculum and whether it really has the effect that you're saying it has on your community. And you did so well, so I don't think there's a problem. You're a product of the Hong Kong education system, right? So they'll take credit for whatever they can and then say there's probably no issue, right? But I will say this. Despite feeling disheartened on that one occasion, with the benefit and support of organizations like Unison, Hong Kong Human Rights Monitor, and our numerous other friends in different NGOs, I went to Geneva along with Vermi and her team, and we advocated for Chinese as a second language before the UN Human Rights Committee, before the Children's Rights Committee. And somehow, being visible, being the face of Hong Kong's marginalization, right, made the Hong Kong government uncomfortable. I represented a symbol of discomfort, a symbol of failing. They failed a community of people. And to be seen to be failing a community of people at the international level shamed the government. And so this year, in 2014, in January, in the policy address, they promised to change, right? And they promised to introduce Chinese as a second language curriculum, which is going to be implemented in 2014 in September, so this coming academic year, okay? So, meaningful change can only come about if you decide to become involved, and by becoming more visible. The result, you can see, it made a difference. Okay, so am I saying then, has this solved all of our problems? No. But it's a start. It's a small step which goes a long way. And we have to be involved. We have to put a face to the problem. We have to make sure that the voices are ours. These are your rights. This is your Hong Kong. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If we want change, change can only begin with you. And I hope that today marks the beginning of you promising to yourself that you're going to do something. Because democracy in Hong Kong is as much about you as anybody else who is out there on the streets trying to make it happen. So I urge you all to take ownership of your own future and be part of the change. Thank you.